Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. If you jump on here live here on this Thursday evening, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Make sure to give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so and share the video on all social media platforms. I know we have a college game going on right now where last I checked before I started the video. Good evening, Kevron. Glad to have you here. As always, East Carolina is defeating Tulsa. And we also have an NFL game going on right now. And that's the shock probably so far is the Bengals are beating the Steelers. But I still got to come on here and talk about some of the games of note this upcoming weekend in the world of college football. Now, of course, college football for the week started back on Tuesday, so we had games Tuesday, Wednesday, and tonight. Now, I'm not going to bring up all the games from the past couple of days, but just a couple of games of note. Liberty beat New Mexico State 30-27. Arkansas State, with a field goal at the end, defeats South Alabama 15-14. And I was watching that game, and they talked about Jalen Rayner, who is the Arkansas State quarterback in his third season, and they started showing his stats from 23, 24, and this year, and I thought, that can't be right. Jalen Rayner has been at Arkansas State since Butch Jones was coaching at Central Michigan. At least it seems that way. Jacksonville State beat Delaware 38-25. And as I said, right now we have Tulsa and East Carolina. Another huge weekend on tap. A lot of what looks to be like very good, very intriguing, very good games coming up this weekend, so I am excited about it. Now, I've got wrestling Sunday and Monday. I was supposed to have a show on Saturday, but due to a recurring knee injury, I'm taking Saturday off. But I hope to be in the ring on Sunday and Monday, so hopefully I will see some of you out there either one night or both nights. But tomorrow night we have Louisville and Miami. That's 7 o'clock on ESPN. And if I'm Miami, I'm looking out in this game. I don't know what it is about Friday night football, but it seems like you see a lot of upsets or near upsets on Friday nights. And of course, Louisville looking to pull off a huge upset going up against Miami. We also have Nebraska and Minnesota, 8 o'clock on Fox. Now, Nebraska coach Matt Rule is one of the candidates to take the Penn State job, and I don't think Penn State has any idea what they're going to do, because I don't think they had it in the plans to fire James Franklin. But there was a lot of boosters and a lot of people putting money into the program that pretty much told the AD, hey, you fire James Franklin or we're going to quit giving you money. So Penn State felt like they had no choice. But when you weren't planning on firing the coach, you have no backup plan. Now, a lot of times if you know it's going to happen, you already have a pretty good idea of who you're calling first. But when you have no intentions of firing anybody, you sure don't have a backup plan. But Matt Rule, who played for Penn State, is one of the candidates. North Carolina and California, 10:30 tomorrow night on ESPN. Now, North Carolina doesn't have many chances left to win, and this game tomorrow night against California is one of the few games they have left with a shot to win. So if they want to do anything better than 2-10, they need to beat California tomorrow night. Hey there, Jeanette. Glad to have you here. And Jeanette, I think it's the first time I've seen your name in the comments section. If it is your first time being here, whatever reason made you stop by the channel tonight, thank you for being here. Make sure to give the video a like, thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed, please do so. Coming up on Saturday, noon, ABC, LSU, and Vanderbilt. Noon on ESPN, Georgia Tech and Duke. Fox has Washington and Michigan. Fox Sports 1 has Arizona and Houston. Two surprisingly good teams. Right now, they're both in the upper half of the Big 12, and most people thought they'd be in the bottom half. And right now, they're pretty easily on the top half. So one of them's good season continues. Saturday, Baylor and TCU on ESPN 2. Army and Tulane on ESPN U. Hey there, Axel. Glad to have you here. Oklahoma and South Carolina is 12:45 on the SEC Network. 3:30, Ohio State and Wisconsin just looks absolutely dreadfully, awfully bad on offense. And when you're already bad on offense and you're playing a team that's really good on defense, I'm not sure how this game is even close at all, but maybe there'll be some weird things happen and it'll wind up being a good game. But Wisconsin lost to Iowa 37-0 last week. They look lost right now. And I think the only thing that might be saving Luke Fickell's job is the fact that there's already been so many head coach firings, and there's rumored to be 3 or 4 more. And when you have 12 to 15 coaching vacancies, if you're a big-time coach, Wisconsin's going to be the bottom of the barrel. So if you fire Luke Fickell with all these head coach vacancies, I'm not sure that whoever you get is any better than what you have right now. And I still think if they give Luke Fickell time, he'll turn them around. But this day and time, coaches don't get time, and so far they have not improved at all. Michigan State and Indiana on Peacock. Texas A&M and Arkansas on ESPN. Then we have Ole Miss and Georgia on ABC. Clemson and SMU on the ACC network. Now, I was talking to a Georgia buddy the other day, and he was talking about that Ole Miss game coming up on Saturday, and I said, well, Georgia, to me, I think is a better team. But Georgia's played 3 teams this year worth a darn. That's Tennessee, Alabama, and Auburn. And in all 3 of those games, in the first half, Georgia looked absolutely pitiful on both sides of the ball. Offense can't do diddly squat, and defense looks bad. Now, you were lucky enough to come from behind and beat Auburn and Tennessee, but against Bama, it cost you. But if you keep getting behind big against good teams, it's going to bite you again. And for whatever reason, Georgia just comes out in every game and looks awful in the first half. I mean, just absolutely awful. But I do think Georgia's a better team, but that doesn't always mean that you win the game. And supposedly for Clemson, Cade Klubnik might not play Saturday. And I hope for Clemson's sake he plays, because Chris Vizina is terrible. I mean, just absolutely terrible. And if Vizina plays, you're going to get beat pretty bad. But also, you're going to realize that Vizina is not your quarterback of the future. And your quarterback of the future is probably not on this roster. So you're going to have to either go out and sign some incoming freshman out of high school that's absolutely incredible, or go out and get one of the portal, because Vizina is the best quarterback you have on the roster, and I think he sucks. So if Klubnik doesn't play Saturday, you'll find out pretty quickly why he is the quarterback, and why all the Clemson fans that say, gotta go to Vizina, you'll find out why they ain't went to Vizina. 4 o'clock on Fox, Texas Tech and Arizona State, Memphis and UAB on ESPN 2. 4:15, we have Mississippi State and Florida. And, of course, that game is on the SEC Network. 6:30, Oregon and Rutgers on the Big Ten Network. Washington State and Virginia on the CW. And now moving into our prime time games coming up on Saturday, 7 o'clock, ESPN, Texas, and Kentucky. Penn State and Iowa, 7 o'clock on Peacock. And a couple of weeks back, this looked like an automatic win for Penn State. And now I'm not so sure that Penn State wins this game. You don't have a coach, and you don't have a quarterback. So I'm not for sure Penn State wins this game. And if Penn State don't win this game, they're looking at about a 5 or 6 game losing streak, because their next couple of games after Iowa, they probably will lose. If they have any hopes of just making 6-6 and making a bowl game, they better beat Iowa. Maryland and UCLA, FS1 at 7 o'clock. Tennessee, Alabama, 7:30 on ABC. And that, of course, is the game of the weekend, according to everybody, which is why it's the primetime game. On the National Network, USC and Notre Dame on NBC. And then 7:45 is Missouri and Auburn. So a lot of good games this weekend. Not quite as many as last weekend, but still a myriad of good games. And it's getting that time of the season now to where if you're in the top 15, every game is crucial. Because now, if you lose, especially if you're 11, 12, 13, and you lay an egg and get beat by 3 touchdowns against anybody, it might knock you out of playoff consideration. So now this is the time of the season where if you're in the top 12, top 15, every game becomes crucial. So I'm excited about this weekend. It's already underway. And then tomorrow night, have some good games. I think Louisville, Miami will be a really good game. And I think Nebraska and Minnesota will be a really good game. And supposedly, besides Matt Rule, another name in the hat for the Penn State job is Clark Lee. And I know why they want Clark Lee, because they look at what he's doing at Vanderbilt. But here's the issue, and here's the reason why I say I'm not so sure it'd work. Vanderbilt has won 9 games twice in football in the last 70 years. Both times the coach was James Franklin. So, of course, that's why Penn State came calling. Franklin leaves Vanderbilt, goes to Penn State. Now, Clark Lee's winning at Vanderbilt, but he's not doing as good as James Franklin did. So if he's not doing as good at Vanderbilt as James Franklin did, then why does Penn State think he's going to do better at Penn State than James Franklin did? Not so sure it's a good idea, but his name is out there. I'm sure he's not number 1 on the list, but I'm sure if the 3, 4, 5 guys ahead of him say no, they'll call him, but I'm not sure it'd be a very good idea. Any thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. Why does Waldo wear stripes? He doesn't want to be spotted. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.